Hi, Brian here from Jam Dynamic, and today I'd like to talk about my get back home bag. So recently I did a video on EDC, or everyday carry, the things I carry in my body from head to toe. I also have a bag that I take with me everywhere I go, and this obviously there's things that I don't keep in here that I keep in my vehicle, and I have them every day. I did want to cover those, but I'll do that a little bit later, like jacks, bolt cutters, a crowbar. Those are all things I like to have in my truck all the time. So when you're considering packing a get back home bag or a bug out bag, you want to take into consideration those 8 areas of food, water, shelter, security, communications, health, fire building, and land navigation. So let's go over each one, and I'll tell you what I had in my bag. My bag is not the end all be all. I'm working on it all the time. There's things I take out, there's things I add. If I see something cool, I might replace something I already have. It's a work in progress all the time, and you need to think about it like that. You don't want to just pack a bag, stick it in your car, and forget about it, because a lot of this stuff is perishable. Especially food items, things like that. You want to switch them out. Water, things come on the market that are just better than gear that you might already have. So there's nothing wrong with taking something, give it away as a gift or something, give it to one of your kids and replace it with something new. Or you get a new gift for a holiday, take it and put in your bag. So let's start with food. So basically, obviously you want to have something to cook with. I've got this little MSR stove. I like it. It's you get these fuel canisters. I like to take tape. I put tape around everything, right? So I take like 100-mile-an-hour tape, I call it, or duct tape or whatever, and I'll wrap it around things. I do it with lighters. Anytime I have a lighter, I always put tape around it. I think I showed on the EDC, I showed you guys I had this one where I took like monofilament string and wax covered string and other. I took some other type of cordage. I put it around there. I got like 20 meters of each on there, and then I wrapped a bunch of electrical tape around that. I got like 5 feet of electrical tape and a long strip of Gorilla tape I was able to get on there too. A little compass on the bottom. Got a whistle. And obviously makes fire, right? So these are great to have for cooking. Obviously you want to have fuel. You want to make sure you got a good full fuel can. Something to cook your food or boil water in is definitely good to have. And you can store a lot of stuff in something like that if you're going to carry something big like that. You can also get a smaller one. It doesn't have to be huge, depending on the size of your bag and how much room you have. So you just need to work these things out. I like to carry a little piece of leather that I can use to hold hot items, so that helps. I carry this little bag right here. It's got some licky chewies in it, some coffee, spork. Absolutely imperative. Never leave home without it. A couple of Kind bars, get some quick protein. You want to think high protein, high energy. You've got to move on foot long distances. You don't want to be stuck with without any kind of food or nourishment during that time. Water. So in the bag itself, I've got Camelback, as you can see. You can get 2 liters of water, 3 liters of water in here. And then I always carry a couple extra bottles of water in there too, right? And then you want to be able to purify the water. So we talked about having something to boil water in. That's always really good. But if you're on the go and you don't have time to stop, you can get these iodine tabs. They work really well. They don't taste that great, but they actually come with something to help the taste, the taste of the water improve. So you can get these little kits right here. You put a pill each in your water, you wait 30 minutes, and your water's good to go. They make these little lights right here where you can actually use UV rays to purify your water, so it's pretty cool. It doesn't look like it's clean water when you're done, but it actually kills all the microbes in there and all the contaminants, all the things that can make you not feel too well after drinking it, give you a case of the shits. I like these life straws. They're great. I carry life straws. You notice I have a lot of stuff in redundancy, right? I do that because you don't, like I said, you may not have time to boil water, you know, and you just pull out your life straw. Well, this thing, 99.9% of contaminants, it'll clear, and you can drink right out of a pond or, you know, still stagnant water, whatever. This thing will, as long as you get the particulates out of the way so they don't get inside here and clog this thing up, you can drink it. So these things work really well. They do like some unbelievable number, like 250,000 gallons or something. I don't know. That's probably a little bit of hyperbole, but I'm not sure exactly how much they do, but it's a lot of water. It's enough water to where in a survival situation you're going to be okay with something like this. You also want things to carry water in, right? So containers, they sell these things. You can buy them online. Outdoor Products makes this. You know, I like these kind of things because you can break them down really small and store them, and then when you need them, you just open them up, you know, and they can hold a lot of water. Same with this. It rolls up. It's got a little carabiner on it even, and you can use it to fill it up with water when you need it. Okay, shelter. So I always carry my woobie with me everywhere I go, right? My poncho liner. These things are great. Remember, shelter includes your clothing, so think about it. You know, what time of year is it? How are you going out? Are you wearing shorts and a t-shirt when it's 20 degrees out? What if you got to walk or remain overnight someplace outdoors? Do you have what you need to keep your body warm, right? Or cool, depending on what time of year it is. So for me, right now, I got this little micro hammock. I keep my woobie and a poncho and poncho liner. So I know I can do that with the bungee cords. I can make a shelter no matter what, no matter where I'm at. I've got some 550 cord rolled up in here too. 4 bungee cords and poncho and poncho liner. So that's my shelter. And then of course my micro hammock if I decide to use a hammock. Security. So we know on my EDC I carry a pistol. I also, in my truck, I carry a shotgun with me. Why do I carry a shotgun? Well, if a situation arises where I have to leave my vehicle and go on foot, you know, and it's something catastrophic, like an EMP or some you know, public unrest or rioting or whatever, and I have to secure myself and possibly my family that's with me, I want to make sure that I have all the tools necessary to do it. And carrying a shotgun, I can do it in the state that I live in. I suggest that you check the laws of your state before you drive around with a shotgun in your car. Make sure you can do it legally. But if you can, shotguns are a great self-defense weapon. They're very versatile. You can reach out and touch somebody with a slug, or you can do more close-in stuff with the different types of ammo that come around, buckshot and, you know, birdshot. There's all types of ammunition that you can buy. There's you know, ammunition that's designed specifically for self-defense. You've got less than lethal ammunition. You have all kinds of options that you can use in a shotgun. That's why I like shotguns. So they make these bandoliers. You can carry a whole shitload of rounds, and you can just strap it on yourself if you had to go, and and make your way through territory to get back to your home. I also carry a knife everywhere I go, right? This is a good knife right here, but I carry a folder too. So, you know, just make sure that you have a blade on you at all times, whether it's in your bag or on your body. You know, I suggest being redundant. Have something in your bag and something on your body, because you never know when you need a knife. Okay, I carry these right here, some flex cuffs. You know, I'm not a cop. I don't see any reason why I'd have to flex cuff anybody, but somebody gave me these, so I thought they're pretty cool. They're compact, and you just never know. So having them, they don't really weigh anything. They don't take up any space. To me, it was worth it to keep in my get back home bag. Night vision. You know, we take that for granted sometimes, especially coming from the military. I know I did personally. I did 25 years in the military, and I was used to having all this really high-speed gear given to me and using it and not thinking that, wow, if I ever had to go out and get this stuff on my own, I mean, it's astronomical in price. Some of these things, if you're looking at generation 2, 3 nods, you're looking at like $5, $6 to $10,000 for a pair of good nods. I got these at Walmart for $150, and they actually work. I was surprised, but I've been using them for a couple of years, and they work pretty well. You know, it's not the best. It's not the best image, but it's pretty clear. It's got a zoom. You can zoom in. You can focus it. It works pretty well for the price. You know, $150. Can't beat that for night vision. And being able to see at night could put you in an advantage if you're having to sneak and peek and get back home. So definitely worth having. They don't really weigh very much. They take 4 AA batteries to run. That's another thing. Anything you have that requires batteries, bring extra batteries, right? I carry extra batteries with me all the time. Every single piece of equipment here that requires batteries has batteries in my bag for that piece of equipment if the batteries that are in it go bad. So don't forget that. Communications, right? Signaling. Let's start off with flare guns, right? Flare guns are really good to have. You know, you can use them. They're not really meant for much, but other than what they're designed for, which is to signal, right? So you take these, you can put a flare in it, you cock it, you pull the trigger, boom, the flare goes up in the air and signals your position. Is that always something you're going to want to do? No, but it may be. You may need it, so it's good to have, right? So I carry one. A flashlight. Just having a basic flashlight to signal your position is excellent, right? It's a great device for that. So I carry them, like I said, in depth, multiple flashlights. Signal mirror. Got a lot of different functions you can use for that. You can signal an aircraft. You can signal somebody to your position, or you can just use it to shave with, right? So that it comes in handy. Little piece of, you know, VS17 panel type thing here. These things are great. You can cut them up. You don't have to use the whole thing, but having a piece of something really bright, fluorescent like this to mark your position or mark your vehicle. If you had to leave your vehicle, you know, you want to mark your location, or put this on the top of your vehicle so that aircraft that are looking for you can see it. You know, it's good to have things like this, and you don't have to get something that big and bulky. You can get one of these little handkerchiefs. This one's pretty cool. I found this online, I believe, and it's actually got food, water, shelter, all that kind of stuff, little tips and tricks for survival on it that you can read, and you can use it as a sling if you break your arm or something like that, or just as a rag to, you know, blow your nose. Okay. Chem lights. Chem lights are cool, but they do get old, and you know, you want to change them out. This one probably could get changed out. It looks like I've had it in here since the 80s. But they make all different types of chem lights. They make red, green, blue, white, whatever you want. You can go out there and you can get them online real easy. They're great. You just take them out of the case, snap them, shake them, and they work for about 12 hours. They glow. They're good for marking your position, for marking where you've been so you can get back to it, or for even for lighting things up where you don't want to have a whole bunch of light. Health items. Okay, I always keep a little first aid kit. Inside of it, I've got you know, all the little owies type things, band-aids, you know, different types of ointments, rubber gloves, tape, things like that. I also, in my vehicle, and the reason I don't have a bunch of medical stuff in my get back home bag is because in my vehicle I carry an aid bag, an actual military aid bag that's got, you know, tourniquets and Israeli gauze and blood stopper or blood coagulators and things like that. You know, everything. I could do everything from, you know, major trauma issues all the way to little cuts and bruises. So I like to keep that in the vehicle. But as a backup, I like to keep a few items inside of my get back home bag. Shears, really important medical item. If you have to cut through somebody's clothing really quick, these things will cut anything from your pants to your bones. You can chop a finger off with these things. They're extremely powerful. This particular one is made by Mute, M-E-U-U-T, and they've actually got a little carabiner on them. I like that. You can clip them onto things so you don't lose them. Some other medical items. Okay, FireCraft. We didn't talk about this yet. I like to keep things in depth. So we talked about the lighter. Obviously, lighter is my #1 go-to, but I also like to have some other options, right? So right here, you've got magnesium. The way this works, it's got a striker. You can shave the magnesium. You get some shavings, and then you just strike it. A spark comes out, and it'll light that magnesium up super, super hot, and you'll be able to get a fire started. I also keep this little ferrocerium rod. Pretty much does the same thing. It's got a little light on it for, like I said, redundancy. I can't say that enough. So you want to have things that back up other things that you have already. These are great little pieces of tinder that you can use for getting a fire started. They sell them, you know, pretty much everywhere for starting a fire at your house, but I like to keep a few of them in my bag. This is cool stuff. It's made by Livefire. You can see how this works. You open it up and you take your knife or whatever you got, my boot knife, and you kind of shave these little fibers here until they stand up. And then you take your lighter, or it'll even start with a spark from a ferrocerium rod, but you can do it with a lighter. You just get it lit. And once it starts, this thing will just stay lit until you cover it. These covers are actually what's going to put it out. And you can use this for anything. It'll, you know, you can heat up a tent with these things. You can use it to start a fire, whatever you need. And then to put them out, you just put the tin back on top and you slide it on top. That's it. Pretty simple. These zips are the best. I buy these things religiously. Probably the best fire starter I've ever used. They're cheap. They're super ultra light. I mean, ultra light. You wouldn't even know you had this in your bag. And they light immediately, and they stay lit in high wind. And you can use these zip lighters. These zip fire starters are outstanding. They're super ultra light, and they start a fire every time. I highly recommend them. You can start a fire in high wind without any problem at all. They work great. And like I said, they don't take up hardly any space. So it's definitely worth putting a couple of these in your bag. You can get them anywhere. They sell them at Lowe's. They sell them at Home Depot. You get them online. They come in a box with like 20 or 30 of them in there. And they're excellent for fire starting. Okay, some additional items that I keep in my bag. Wet wipes. I won't go into detail on that, but you can imagine. Personal hygiene is extremely important, right? And if you're trying to make your way back home, it might take you a couple days. You're out in the woods, trying to avoid main roads and things like that. You know, you want to have these kind of things. So you want to take that into consideration. Electrical tape. You can use this stuff for anything. It's not heavy. You can put it, a carabiner, you can hang it on the outside of your bag, a roll of it. I always have electrical tape available to me, whether it's wrapped around a lighter or a roll in my bag. I keep it all over the place because electrical tape and Gorilla Tape are probably the two most useful tapes out there when it comes to survival or just, you know, bushcrafting in general, or you know, there's just all kinds of things you can do with it. It's a very useful thing to have. I keep this little repair kit. You know, inside of it I've got like Gorilla Glue, needles, thread, crazy glue, different things like that. I've got a tent repair kit in here. So there's all kinds of stuff like that. I keep it all in a little baggie, and I keep that in my get back home bag as well. And there's some more like items like that, patches and things like that. Now, right now, we're in the colder months in North Carolina. I don't really need it, but in the summertime, especially if you're in the woods or in swampy areas, mosquito netting is a must-have around here. So if you're in an area that's, you know, got a whole bunch of mosquitoes, definitely suggest having some sort of mosquito net. You want to have cordage. Like I said, I have 550 cord, but you can use whatever you got. They sell all different types of cordage out there. They also sell these types of things. It's like a wire with a plastic coating on the outside. It's malleable, but you can use it to tie things down as well. You know, additional carabiners are important. I have a bunch of them hooked on the outside of my bag. Carabiners are important. And the final thing I want to talk about is survival kits, right? So there's all types of survival kits out there. Now, just to give you an idea, here's a survival kit, and here's a survival kit, right? So there are two different ones. This is the one I actually carry. It has a ton of stuff in here, and I think I'm going to do another video just for this. But you can go something as simple as that and just throw it in your key ring, you know, and you can open these up, and you'll see that it may not have as much as my big kit here does that I'm constantly, you know, working on, but it has all the basics that you need for survival. It's got little fishing hooks in here. It's got needles. It's got razor blades. It's got stuff for medical care. So there's all kinds of things that are inside of this little one. And they sell these, you know, this isn't something that's very uncommon. You can get online and just type in on Amazon, tiny survival kit, and you'll be surprised how many things pop up like this. So having things like this in redundancy is great. Right, I keep that one in the sheath for my knife, and then this one I keep in my get back home bag. And like I said, it's just got everything: food, water, shelter, security, communications, health, fire, building, and land navigation items in here. And then finally, land navigation. So I showed you my compass earlier. Also, I carry my iPhone. It's got a compass. It's got a GPS. I wear a Garmin watch. The Garmin watch has a GPS on it. I have multiple button compasses throughout my kit that are, you know, glued on or tucked away. So you definitely want to, you know, have land navigation items in depth and you know, multiple backups, because there's no worse feeling than being in a bad situation and not knowing which way north is, or not knowing where you're at, you know. In my vehicle, I carry a road atlas. That's another thing a lot of people take for granted. You know, you think that you're always going to have your GPS, or you're always going to have the ability to get onto, you know, MapQuest and figure out where you're at. And it's not the case. If the system goes down, if those things go down and you're stuck someplace, you're going to be basically stranded if you don't know where you're going. So having a road atlas for the area that you live in and the surrounding areas is really important. And knowing how to use it, knowing how to read one of those maps. You know, when's the last time you looked at a map? A lot of people just turn on their GPS on their phone and they just, you know, turn left at the next light. You get so used to doing that you forget how to read a map. So, you know, pull out your road atlas one of these days, take a look at it, and see if you can actually navigate from point A to point B without using your phone. Those are skill sets that are very perishable, and the time to work on them is not after an emergency occurs. Okay, that's pretty much it for my bag. I'm sure I've skipped over some things, or there's certain things that I don't have or I didn't talk about that I could have that would make this better. So be sure to comment if you think of something better, or you have another idea, or a way that I can improve the kit that I've already got, or something that you carry that I'm not carrying. I'd love to hear it. This is Brian Morris with JM Dynamic. Skills for life. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you soon.